that I lost respect for Martell, it was simply because he took a video of his wife in an intimate moment and then threatened to use this video.
What video, bro? Hold on, why are you saying that? What video?
This is why
Marceau, what video are you speaking about? Because I haven't seen a video. Have you? What video are you talking about?
I haven't seen it.
Well, stop speaking on you don't know.
What kind of man would I be that with my daughters and with my wife to say, yeah, I have a friend who made a video with his wife and then he threatened to put it out there and tried to, because I know because it came to us before and I didn't know it was true.
The video came to you before or the information?
Where's the video?
The information came to us to try to do it. Then Mel and I talked about it and she confirmed it. At that point right there, I knew it was true.
Where's the video? Where's it?
You have never seen Martell Holt or anyone tied to him in this kind of spotlight before. The spark that lit this fire came from Tasha K's video. When I say it hit Martell hard, I mean it broke down every wall he had tried to build. He couldn't cover it with charm, smooth talk, or excuses. The truth was right there, and for once, people could not ignore it. The reaction was instant. Social media blew up within minutes. People had different emotions: shock, disappointment, anger. Some fans tried to defend Martell as they always do, but most were standing with Melody Cherie, finally offering her the kind of support she has deserved for years. Let's be clear, Melody has been speaking out for a long time. She told everyone how Martell harassed her, how he popped up where he didn't belong, how her peace was constantly shaken, and how even her children's safety was at risk. Too often, people ignored her. Some thought she was being dramatic, others chose not to believe her, and many gave Martell the benefit of the doubt. But when Tasha K dropped that clip, it forced everyone to pay attention. And how did Martell react? In the same way he always does. Instead of showing remorse or reflecting on what he had done, he tried to make it a joke. He laughed, he mocked, he deflected. He even made fun of Melody's appearance in court. Now think about that. Melody walked in wearing a crisp white suit. She looked professional, ready, and dignified. She handled herself with grace. Yet Martell thought it was funny to call it her Sunday best. He tried to reduce her professionalism into something laughable. And here's the double standard. Nobody mocked Martell's outfit. Nobody turned his appearance into a punchline. But Melody, the woman who came in polished and prepared, was the one people tried to criticize. That kind of unfair judgment happens far too often, and it speaks volumes about bias. Then there's Ariana Curry, also known as Coleslaw. She came to court as well, and instead of respecting the space, she wore an outfit many people whispered was far too short for the courtroom. But did she face the same level of criticism Melody did? Not really. The silence was loud. Once again, the unfairness was clear. Melody became the target, even though she carried herself with respect, while Arionne's actions were brushed aside. But Melody didn't let any of that break her. She stayed steady. She came in, handled her business, and left with her head high. That, family, is strength. That is grace under fire. That is why her supporters stand with her no matter what. Now, let's talk about the scene that had everyone buzzing. After court, Melody, Martell, Arionne, and security all ended up in the same elevator. Just picture the tension in that small, closed space. Arionne could have stayed quiet, could have shown maturity. Instead, she opened her mouth and threw shade at Melody, saying she was with someone's husband's family. The irony was almost unbelievable. For years, Arionne has fought against being labeled the other woman. She has defended her relationship with Martell over and over. Yet even in that moment, she decided to attack Melody with the very narrative she claimed wasn't true. It wasn't strength, it wasn't confidence, it was desperation. And Melody? She didn't crumble. She didn't lash out. She stayed calm, unbothered, and firm. That's why people say Melody is in a class of her own. She doesn't need to respond to every jab, because her dignity speaks louder than insults. But the story doesn't stop there. This isn't just about messy reality TV moments or love triangles. It's about patterns, gaslighting, manipulation, and refusal to take responsibility. Martell did what he always does after the court session. He tried to flip the story. He started saying he had videos that would expose the real abuser, trying to point the finger back at Melody and her family. This is the cycle we've all seen before. He provokes, he pokes, he pushes until Melody reacts, and then he records it, spins it, and plays the victim. Fans are tired of it. They've seen this game too many times. And let's not forget the penalties. Martell laughed and said if he had truly done what Melody accused him of, he would be in jail, not facing just a $300 fine. But here's the truth. The size of the fine doesn't mean the claims weren't serious. Courts don't always punish in proportion to the harm done. Martell knows that, but instead of reflecting, he turned it into another joke. That arrogance is what fueled even more anger online. The bigger picture here is that this isn't just about Martell and Melody anymore. The ripple effects spread across the entire cast. Let's take a step back and look at the Scotts: Marsau, Maurice, Kimmy, and of course, Miss Wanda. Marsau and Martell have clashed plenty of times, including that infamous rooftop confrontation where fists almost flew. Maurice has repeatedly tried to talk sense into Martell, urging him to calm down and think before acting. Kimmy, always the voice of reason, has given Martell chance after chance, telling him straight up that he avoids responsibility. And Miss Wanda? She stirs the pot whenever she feels like it, sometimes shading Martell, other times staying quiet when the drama gets too deep. But what do all these pieces show? A clear pattern. Martell refuses to take responsibility. He blames, he jokes, he deflects. And it's not just cast members noticing, it's fans too. Now let's talk about Carlos King, the producer. Fans are demanding answers from him as well. They're asking, why hasn't production done more to protect Melody? If a woman says she feels unsafe, if she says her piece is being destroyed, and if receipts back her up, why is nothing being done? At what point does entertainment cross the line into negligence? Fans are filling Carlos's social media comments with questions. They're calling out the network. They're saying Martell isn't the only one responsible. If producers and executives allow it to continue, they are part of the problem. That's why this situation has blown up bigger than before. It's not just about a cheating scandal or a messy breakup anymore. It's about accountability, safety, and how women are treated when they speak up. And family, this is just the beginning. The layers run deep, and as we peel them back, the picture becomes clearer. Martell isn't just dealing with personal drama. He's at the center of a cultural conversation, one about respect, responsibility, and what happens when the truth can no longer be ignored. Stay with me, because this breakdown is only getting started. The internet may have reacted instantly, but the fallout is still building, and by the time it settles, nothing will look the same. Not for Martell, not for Melody, and not for the show itself. When the court dust began to settle, you might think Martell would take the chance to reflect. But instead, he doubled down. He went live, throwing out claims, trying to paint himself as the real victim. He said that if the accusations were true, he'd be locked away, not fined. He tried to convince his followers that Melody exaggerated everything. But here's what he didn't understand. This time, people weren't buying it. The audience wasn't just reacting to words, they were reacting to patterns. Year after year, the same cycle repeated. He would hurt, deny, flip the story, and laugh while Melody carried the scars. The difference now is that the receipts are public. People saw, people heard, and people knew better. Arionne, who once stood proudly in his shadow, didn't escape the spotlight either. Social media turned on her fast. They called her out for disrespecting herself, her daughter, and her family by chasing a man who never gave her public respect. The nickname Coleslaw resurfaced stronger than ever. People asked, what has she gained after all these years? No ring, no stable relationship, just ridicule. Yet even with the backlash, Arionne stood by Martell, echoing his lines and throwing shade at Melody. It was almost sad to watch because no matter what, she seemed locked in a cycle she couldn't escape. And viewers noticed. The sympathy she hoped to find never came. Instead, her name became a warning, an example of what happens when you let yourself be dragged into someone else's storm. Through it all, Melody's composure has been remarkable. She didn't jump on live streams to defend herself. She didn't clap back at every insult. She let her actions speak. She went to court, faced Martell, and stood firm. She continued working, raising her children, and living her life without being consumed by Martell's drama. That's what inspires her fans. Melody represents resilience. She shows that even when people doubt you, even when the world laughs at you, if you stay steady, the truth eventually comes to light. She's not perfect, but she doesn't have to be. What makes her powerful is her persistence. Fans are rallying behind her in ways Martell can't ignore. They buy her music, her products, and they attend her events. They fill her comment sections with love and encouragement. And when Martell tries to discredit her, her supporters flood his pages, reminding him that his behavior is visible to everyone. What often gets forgotten in all this mess are the children. Melody and Martell share 4 kids, and their well-being should always be the priority. But the constant public fights, the court appearances, and the shade online affect them more than anyone. Melody has openly said she wants peace for her kids. She doesn't want them growing up in chaos. That's why she's fought so hard to set boundaries. Martell, however, seems more focused on image than healing. He wants to be seen as the fun dad, the strong provider, but his actions show a man more concerned with winning arguments than building stability. And fans see the danger. They know children watch, listen, and absorb. The fear is that if Martell doesn't change, those patterns will repeat in the next generation. That's why so many viewers feel protective of Melody's children. They don't deserve to carry the weight of their parents' battles. Now, let's circle back to the Scotts. Marceau, Maurice, Kimmy, and Miss Wanda have their own storylines, but Martell's chaos always spills into their lives. Marceau has been blunt about Martell's temper, warning him to think before acting. Maurice has tried to mentor him, though often in vain. Kimmy, dealing with her own health struggles, still finds the patience to call Martell out when he's wrong. Miss Wanda, unpredictable as ever, sometimes defends Martell and sometimes drags him. She thrives in the drama, stirring the pot whenever it suits her, and that only adds to the noise. What's clear is that the entire group is fractured. Friendships are strained, trust is thin, and alliances shift constantly. And through it all, Martell remains the common denominator. And through it all, Martell remains the common denominator. The spotlight has also turned on Carlos King, the producer. Fans are calling him out, asking why he hasn't stepped in more forcefully. They argue that protecting cast members, especially women who feel unsafe, should come before storylines. If Melody says she's being harassed, if the evidence is there, why is Martell still being given a platform? Some viewers accuse the show of exploiting trauma for ratings. They believe that by keeping Martell front and center, production is valuing drama over humanity. Carlos has built a reputation as a producer who brings the heat, but now fans want to know if he can also bring responsibility. The network, too, is under pressure. Viewers are questioning if they will allow this toxic cycle to continue unchecked. Reality TV thrives on conflict, yes, but when that conflict becomes dangerous, when it threatens mental health and safety, the line has to be drawn. Behind the scenes, Martell's circle is shrinking. Old friends have pulled back, business opportunities are drying up. Even some fans who once defended him have stepped away. They're tired of excuses, tired of blame shifting, tired of seeing the same destructive patterns on repeat. Martell has become isolated, and instead of facing that truth, he lashes out. He clings to arrogance, hoping laughter and bravado will hide the cracks. But the cracks are too deep now. Everyone can see them. This story has grown beyond Huntsville. It has sparked conversations about gender bias, accountability, and the way women are treated when they speak out. Melody's experience mirrors what many women go through, being dismissed, doubted, or mocked when they share their pain. Martell's behavior reflects a culture that too often excuses men while holding women to impossible standards. That's why this drama resonates so deeply. It's not just about one couple. It's about every woman who has stood in a courtroom and been laughed at, every mother who has had to protect her children while being attacked online, every survivor who has been told her story isn't serious enough. So where does this leave us? Martell's reputation is damaged in ways that may never heal. Melody's star continues to rise, fueled by her strength and the support of fans. Arionne remains stuck, tied to a man who will never give her the respect she craves. And the show itself faces a crossroads: continue chasing chaos or take responsibility and change course. For Melody, the path forward is clear. She is building, creating, and living with purpose. She has shown that survival is possible, even in the harshest storms. For Martell, the future is uncertain. Until he looks in the mirror and owns his actions, he will remain trapped in the same cycle. And for the fans, the choice is simple: support the truth, protect the vulnerable, and refuse to be distracted by arrogance and jokes. Because at the end of the day, reality TV may fade, but the lessons remain. Family, this story has layers: pain, resilience, betrayal, strength. It's bigger than headlines and bigger than ratings. It's about accountability, justice, and respect. Melody's journey shows us that even when the world tries to silence you, standing firm can change everything. Martell may laugh now, but the laughter hides cracks he can't repair. Arionne may throw shade, but the shade won't change the truth. The world is watching, and the truth always wins. And that's where we leave it, family. The truth is out, the drama is raw, and the story is far from finished. What do you think comes next? Drop your thoughts below, subscribe for more updates, and stay tuned, because in Huntsville, the storm is only beginning.